boys and girls, and anyone who's accidentally stumbled onto our frequency. You're tuned into Get Off My Lawn, where we dust off the cobwebs of yesteryear and take a good hearty swing at the absurdity of today. Join your eccentric guides, Piotr, Cade, and Jake, as they deliver a cane-beatingly asinine production that'll make your ears tingle and your funny bone jiggle. So, grab your rocking chair, polish your monocle, dive headfirst into a raucous romp through the zany, the quirky, and the delightfully deranged. Hold on to your hats, because things are about to get wildly unpredictable.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Piotr, and in this episode of Get Off My Lawn, I'm going to be interviewing my two co-hosts, Jake and Cade. Jake, we're starting with you today, just because I decided to single you out, Alabama boy.
Yay!
Alright, Jake, first of all, to start things off, where are you from, my friend?
Alabama. Southern born and southern raised.
There you go,
I'm a
nice.
real country bumpkin.
Yep, as the title states. In any case, Jake, what do you do, like, just as, like, hobbies and stuff? You know, everybody knows I'm the pianist around
I'm
here.
into a lot of different things. I mean, I do a lot of audio and video editing. I mean, I dabble in music a lot. I play piano.
Yeah, I
and
do.
a few other instruments and stuff. But that just pretty much it revolves all around music. Much.
Yeah, I do recall you wrote a tune called Lullaby of the Lily for the
yeah, I did.
picture based on, or rather, music based on an image.
That you did on
thing
your
I
channel,
had.
yeah.
Yeah, I had that going for a little bit, and Jake wrote one really pretty little tune for that. That was about a year and a half ago at this point, I believe. In any case, Jake, I also do recall that you do a lot of audio and video remastering. That work you can see on Jake's channel, especially. Pretty awesome stuff. Upscales of, Beatles tapes and remasters of audio, and also reconstructed video and whatnot using very impressive technology. So how did you get into that remastering and in general archiving sort of
Well, I
industry?
mean, I know a lot of people personally that are really into a lot of older music and older movies and films and stuff. And I just kind of started looking around on YouTube, and I realized there were a lot of people that use programs that at the time I'd never heard of before, that to remaster and redo a lot of these. And so I just got on there and I just started doing it, and the more I got into it, the more I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I certainly know the feeling, the satisfaction of being able to watch a concert tape from the 1930s or even 40s, and then upscaling that to full HD and cleaning up the harsh audio and whatnot. And you get
It can be fun.
full image. Yeah, I myself have done quite a bit of that, with the Buddy Rich drum solo tapes and whatnot. Not with as good results as you though, because I don't, I just slap on the model and let them
Thank
rip. In any case, I also recall that, you're a pianist yourself, of course. How did you get into piano playing?
Well, my family's always been kind of musically inclined. So when I was about 8 years old, people just started, trying to get me to, play an instrument. And I played, I played a little bit of guitar, I played a little bit of banjo, but we had this little keyboard that we had bought like 10 years before that. And I just found it and I plugged it in. I had no idea what I was doing, but it had all these little effects and noises and stuff on it. I just thought that was the greatest thing ever. So I started just kind of banging away on the keys, and I asked my uncle, which is a musician, to kind of show me a few chords. And within a couple weeks, I was, banging away some songs that I liked. And so that's where I got into it.
Yeah, so you started picking up stuff by ear mostly.
Yeah, I play by ear a lot.
Yeah, and then I also recall that you have a Whitney console piano, which is a rare occurrence, of course.
I did.
When did that come around? How did you get that piano?
I got that about 3 years ago. And a lot of pianists and piano technicians will hate me for this, but I found it on Marketplace. And they wanted $50 for it. And at that time, I'd been playing on, just little cheap keyboards and stuff. We went and got it, and at the time, I had no idea, that some people think that, Whitneys aren't the best, and it was not the best, but it was a rare kind of piano. And I recently got a Samick. But yeah, that's where I got into acoustic about 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing for 5 years. I was lucky enough to have a piano in the house, but of course, in my case, your Whitney is, if I recall, is from 1979. The Samic's
Yes,
from
it
the
is.
1990s, so you had all these more modern instruments. I had to put up with, beat up old uprights for about 5
Saloon
years
uprights,
before
right.
I mean, I was lucky my friend just Bacon to get a decent player once it was tuned and somewhat regulated. I was lucky with that. But yeah, so then you got the Whitney, and then you got the Samick. And if I recall correctly, you were telling me the story of moving that piano. That was an interesting story. You ran your toe over with that piano.
Yeah, I mean, we built what's called a piano board, which is basically just a piece of wood with some ropes on the end of it to pick a piano up with. Because I mean, even a console piano weighs 400 pounds. It's just got iron and steel and wood. That's all it is. Like the heaviest materials on earth for a piece of furniture.
The cast iron plate alone will weigh about 400 pounds. I meant the cabinet
I mean,
another 100.
the wood is pretty much nothing. It's mainly just the cast iron plate in it. And yeah, we were picking it up, and guys in the back pushing it, and I was helping pull it. Probably not the smartest idea, but we pulled it, and it went right over my foot, and I didn't break anything, but my whole toes, like all my toenails and stuff, were just like bruised and stuff from it. It was not fun.
Yeah, I can only imagine what it must be like getting run over by a 400-pound piano. I've been stepped on by a horse before on my foot, and that hurt enough.
Oh yeah,
and a
it's
horse
like getting run over by a small car.
Exactly, 500 pounds of pony on one toe isn't exactly fun, so I can only imagine it was a similar experience. And I've had to try to move player pianos, and that's already hard enough. I mean, they weigh like 700 pounds, though, not 400. So, in any case, moving on from there, I believe. Let's see, what other topics I want to cover here. What kind of music do you like to play on the piano usually, and in general, just overall?
That's a great question. I mean, I'm like, you go check out your channel and stuff. It's mainly like ragtime, even though I can't hardly play it. I like jazz and stuff. I like, the older classic stuff. I do like some, actual classical music. But I mean, I just enjoy playing so much. It's just really anything and everything I come across that I think sounds good.
You've sent me recordings of yourself playing a few times. I remember you're dabbling with some Tom Bryer music. Scott Joplin's Weeping Willow is one that I think you were learning recently. And Amos Behavin'.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would say my favorite genres are probably stride and jazz and ragtime.
Yeah.
Just getting fun out of playing them.
Yeah.
That's what it's about for me.
And then as far as like overall, just like, not only playing but also listening to music. I mean, you're a huge country fan from what I remember. You listen to Hank Williams recordings quite a bit. All 700 of them.
Yeah, that will happen. Living in Alabama. I'm a country fan. I'm a rock fan. I like a lot of older stuff, but I like a lot of newer stuff as well. I'm a big fan of a lot of these smaller bands and stuff you see coming up on like YouTube and stuff, modern bands, because music just basically became free all of a sudden, and so anybody and everybody's able to create music now.
Exactly. With the advent of the internet, it became much easier to distribute such music for a lot of people to see.
It's just one click away, pretty much.
All right, well that's the music topics here. As far as like pianists go, have you found yourself influenced by any pianists in particular? As far as your playing style goes.
I mean, if you want to say influenced, I mean Tom's stuff. I mean, that's the first time I saw anybody actually playing piano on the internet, on YouTube. It was Tom Bryer. Yeah. So a lot of different pianists, but none professionally necessarily that I can recall, unless you're talking about like jazz standards or something.
I mean, I do recall you mentioned that you said you have a rather heavy-handed technique in your left hand, which I suspect would probably be a Tom Bryer influence and everything, because everybody knows
exactly.
He had a very powerful percussive quality to his left hand.
I got that from Bryer mostly, and just the ragtime style, the way I interpret it, just because I focused for like a whole year on my left hand, and I guess it's time to focus on my right hand.
Yeah. All right, well, I guess the last thing I could ask Jake is what have you got planned for the future? What are some of the goals you have as far as like music, remastering, anything that any of the hobbies that you currently are interested in?
Oh yeah, I'm mainly aiming towards trying to get more of my playing stuff out there, kind of similar to what you have on your channel. Because you've been also a big inspiration for me. When I first
That's a
started
good thing. I've
watching.
been doing something positive with my life.
Yeah, I should add that your channel was actually one of the first ones I watched. As far as moving forward, I have goals as far as like getting more of my videos and stuff out there. And as far as remastering and stuff goes, I have a lot of I have a huge vinyl collection of stuff that I would like to get, you know, digitized and stuff put out there. I think people would, or hope they would enjoy.
Yeah.
And then of course there's this podcast, which we're all very excited to get going.
Yeah. So after this episode, we'll actually, get in depth about different topics, including,
Oh, yeah.
Mostly music related things, just because we're all musicians here and there's plenty of music.
Yeah, we
to
have
go
a
around.
lot of really fun ideas.
Yeah. But I definitely want to do some more of like interview episodes, sort of like this, bringing in maybe other musicians on other
Well,
shows.
yeah, we might even see if anybody that might want to come in and be interviewed.
Yeah, and of course, to get to, for example, musicians that or viewers in general that are musicians or otherwise do some interesting stuff and don't have a whole lot of coverage, we'd be happy to have you guys join us on the show, talk about what you're doing, what you're trying to do online and other things like that. Just get some publicity attention. That's one of the things that I think this podcast would be very good for, is bringing light to the talents that have yet been
Well, yeah.
hiding in the corners, so to speak.
There's a lot of people that are underappreciated out there that we'd love to give some coverage to.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that concludes that little bit, Jake, with me interviewing you, at least. Now, I believe I'm going to move on to Cade, who's our other co-host. All right, Cade. So the first question I'd like to ask you, of course, is where are you from?
I'm from Tennessee. I am also Southern born and raised.
All right. Just like our friend Jake. Funny, my bass player is actually from Tennessee. I know quite a few people from Tennessee. Seems to be a pretty popular place for musicians and the like. In any case, Cade, I do recall you are a brass player, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, I play trumpet, and I know a very tiny bit about the tuba. I played it before. I'm not completely knowledgeable on it, but
Yeah. How long have you been playing trumpet or brass in general?
Let's see here. I graduated high school in May, and I've been playing since the 6th grade, so at least 5 years, maybe more.
Yeah. Pretty cool. What kind of music do you like to play?
Marches and sort of like jazzy kind of things.
Yeah. Concert works, if I remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of marching and playing music. I prefer to sit down.
Yeah, I don't blame you, because hauling around a trumpet or trombone or tuba or anything really, it's really not much fun after you do it in the sun, in the middle of a football field. Like
And the
so many
blistering
schools push you
heat,
through.
and then you got the just got the lyre with the music. It's like I'd rather be looking at a stand, not something hanging off of my trumpet.
Yeah, like they do with the clip on the sheet music on the end of the trumpet. You walk around with that dookie thing on the end.
Mm-hmm. It's
All
useful,
right.
but at the same time,
Yeah.
prefer not to use it.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of entertaining, when you're a bystander, but it's not so entertaining when you're the guy having to walk around and hope that sheet doesn't just like fall off of the thing somehow.
Yeah, and you have to make sure your step is in a line with everybody else, like you're in a fucking military march.
Yeah. I guess that's
That's
why,
also annoying.
I guess that's why we have military marching bands now, don't we? All right. Well, apart from music stuff, well, if I remember correctly, you also are into ocean liners, steam locomotives, and the like.
Yes, as well, really history in general. It's quite an interesting concept to me.
Yeah. Pretty cool. What kind of ocean liners and stuff are you into? Or if I recall correctly, you're pretty well versed in the White Star Line history and whatnot.
Yes, it all started with the Titanic, and then it just kind of spread out from there. Of course, my main interest and knowledge is with White Star Line vessels, but Cunard liners, some other companies' ships, Holland America Line, Hamburg America Line,
Yeah.
North German Lloyd, or Norddeutsche Lloyd if you speak German.
Yeah, I used to be really into ocean. Rather, I had a pretty big obsession over the Titanic, so I got into that stuff when I was like in first grade or something. It was pretty fun. But then, my interest sort of tapered off as I got into other things, like music, for example. Yeah. All right, let's see what I got. I got the interview list here, of course. Let's see. If you were to just, I don't know, come up with a list of musicians that you really like to listen to, like, do you have any particular, like, either brass players or otherwise who you've considered either an influence or just really like listening to?
Brass music? Not that I mean, if you're talking about brass music in specific, other than like maybe Louis Armstrong, no, I don't really know or care all that much.
Yeah, you just sort of listen to everything, like everything, pretty much.
Oh no, there are some things I don't like. But
well, yeah, I mean, like in the genres that you do listen to, you don't really have like you don't really like zero in on a single musician. You just sort of enjoy it all.
Yeah, well, there are, in regards to people who like arrange like sheet music for band or whatever, some people I do really like are like Robert W. Smith, James Swearing, and those are really the only two names I can think of off the top of my head. But
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess the last question I'll ask here is, what are your plans for the future as far as music, or really in general, music, your hobbies go?
I'm probably gonna save up some money and buy a piano, an upright, because I don't like grands that much.
Yeah. So you're planning on sort of expanding your musical horizons into keyboard instruments, and I think I also remember you mentioned guitar at one point or another when we were chatting over the last year or so. Pretty cool.
And I actually have a guitar, so I have no reason to not try and learn and practice and whatnot.
Yeah. And also I can tell you right now, as a guitar player who's playing guitar for like over 11 years at this point, it's a much easier instrument than piano, so I highly recommend at least trying to pick up the guitar while you have it before you go invest God knows how much into a piano that weighs about 800 pounds. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much all I had as far as interviewing topics go. Jake, our other co-host, could you tell us what the plan is for the next few minutes? Because I honestly have no idea.
Oh yeah, sure. So as far as like how we're the rest of this podcast show, whatever you want to call it, it's gonna go. We have I have a bunch of different ideas. But I'm thinking we probably move along with like topics that viewers can choose through like polls and stuff weekly. And then gaming streams and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of fun or just wacky little games and stuff we can play that'd be funny or enjoyable. So yeah, that's about it. We're gonna have a lot of fun with it, I think.
I certainly am excited also to maybe continue this sort of interviewing rather format of sorts, because I personally know quite a few musicians and other people who I think would be very interesting to hear their stories and how they got into what they do and whatnot. So I think that's definitely a good possibility. And as Jake said, we can definitely put out some polls for viewers to pick and choose the subjects, sort of steer the podcast so that the audience enjoys it just as much as we do.
In other words, just basically whatever you want to hear three random people just rant about, whether we know about it or not. Just whatever.
And I will mention right now that if you guys would like to support us, hopefully the Get Off My Lawn channel itself will be monetized as the audience grows. 1,000 subscribers is a huge milestone for any channel. However, if you guys would like to support the team, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee, which if you guys want to throw bucks in there, then I can hopefully split it off and send it to our respective hosts.
Anything goes a long way.
Indeed. All right. Is that it for this episode, do you think, Jake?
Yeah. I mean, it was a shorter one, but I mean, I think, the next episodes we'll put out will probably be much longer. Probably will have a lot more actual in-depth stuff, whatever that may be. We're putting ourselves out there, and whether people like it or not, we're going to find out.
Alrighty. Well, until next episode then, or next time. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first episode of Get Off My Lawn, and I am your host, Piotr, and thank you for watching or listening. In any case, thank you. We'll see you guys in the next episode. everyone. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Get Off My Lawn. If you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up. We'd love to hear from you, so be sure to check out our weekly polls to help decide what we talk about next, because audience inclusion matters on this show for us. And if you want to support the show, head over to my Buy Me a Coffee page, where any revenue generated by this show will be split accordingly between the co-hosts, as we don't have an actual donation site set up yet, so that hopefully will happen very soon. Anyway, thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next time.